Well, hello there. Diary entry for the 2nd of October 2010. Correct, I should say 2015. First time that's ever happened, but anyway, I'll continue. For now, basically, now, I have a very interesting article I read before I went to bed last night. It was relating to traveling, or, well, generally, the genre, as they call it in terms of blog posts, is traveling. So this person knows Derek Lowe, something like a Chinese principal, apparently loves traveling in the United States, apparently, I don't know. He made a very interesting point, in that you see more of a country by land than by plane or by air, which quite interesting and quite agreeable. Now, considering I have a fear of flying myself personally, but I do quite agree. So as I said in a blog post to a few friends of mine, there's a friend living up in Boston, Massachusetts. I'll be visiting her via train from New York. Who else is there around? Oh, just half a dozen of them are all plotted all over the country. USA, I mean, in general. But anyway, my point being is that this person wrote a blog post whereby he was traveling from east to west, or from coast to coast, on known as the Amtrak train. So he travels from San Francisco, which is on the west side, towards, I think, Chicago, and then he was required to change trains or something like that, and then on to New York City, or state, but I think it's the city itself. I was very interested in reading the article. The amount of scenery that you just sit down while you're traveling, obviously on the train, it is just unreal. Like, and then at one stage, they had a few stops, and one stop, a tourist guy, would you believe, hopped on board and gave the local tour, or the tour of the local area. Sorry, I was very intrigued by that now, actually. So you never know what might happen to me or whatever. And then the seating. Now I understood the Amtrak train was quite very crappy looking. Excuse the French to say, but really bad. But actually, it's very modern by the looks of it. Well, the class he was on anyway. You're able to turn the seating around and look out the window, and the window itself was up and everything. So what I'll do is I'll actually send you on the link. If you look down at the bottom of the video description when I'm finished with it, I'll send you on a link and see what you make of it. It's very interesting now, I must say. Now it's apparently double-headed, double-decker, sorry, not headed. But I'm going to continue on. That's what happened now, or that's what I was reading up to last night before I headed to bed. And then when I was sleeping now until about 5:30 in the evening, obviously, and then between 5:30 I was getting up at 7:15, and this thinking times I call it. So I was thinking between 5:30 and 7:15. A few things were on my mind. It's just general, nothing major, one of them being whether I should go to Westwood with a beard for November. And I was saying to myself, would they be attractive, would it be sexy? And I said, sure, if you're an alpha or a middle age. But then I said, well, sure, I've seen plenty of 30-year-olds with beards, but is that sexy? So you never know. As Miss Ma would say, sorry, it takes one day at a time. That's the way it goes. So then, just literally before I got up, and I didn't have a shower. I got up, just got things ready, dressed up and everything. And literally just before I headed out, I was just writing up my diary, and an electricity guy comes down, which is the company of our electricity or energy in Ireland. It's a competitor to ESB, to crowd I'm with now. And he asked me, first question, he didn't even say hi. He just said, do you know what unit price I'm being charged? Personally, I don't. So he cheekily or whatever the correct way of saying it says, as you can gather, I'm from electricity. So I said, at first, I can't see what company you're representing or where you're from. And secondly, I've noticed in changing. And then he had it as if I insulted him or whatever. So, but his tone of voice was not the best. So yeah, I wanted to see again many change over. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, I don't know. But if he wants people to change over He's representing the company. He should go get his manners sorted or his customer service. It's a huge pet peeve of mine. If a business is not providing the best customer service, this guy standing here don't like it, and he heads off elsewhere. And then I got ready to head off to see The Maze Runner. Again, I'll publish you or when I say publish, I'll submit a link to the description there for the score, The Maze Runner Scorch Trials. I had to see my baby for the last time. My baby being Dylan O'Brien. He's an actor. He first appeared on Teen Wolf, and then he appeared in other films such as obviously the first Maze Runner, which I think was out last year, and lastly the one I remember was called The Internship, which is based in Google headquarters in somewhere in the US, in Silicon Valley. I think it's in California somewhere, I'm not sure when. So I headed out to Yarrows to pop my head in, as I would say. And Jay himself, who is a teacher in somewhere in the city, and he loves speaking Irish to me as I describe it. So he was just on his own literally. It's quite unusual. There's hardly a soul around. So O'Farrell joined us. We had a little wee chat, and then he headed upstairs. He was upstairs. Oh no, he was upstairs with men's side, and he just came down to get something. And then I headed off to the film. That's about it. It is more or less a quiet day. So then I came back to watch the news, and I came back to two, on a sad note, if you want to describe it, news bulletins or new current affairs. Now I had heard this about this Oregon shooting last night. It is just very briefly done because it only came to the Irish TV networks last minute, so RT couldn't really cover too much, But anyway, 9 people were shot dead, 7 injured, and 2 critically ill in the hospital. Now, the gunman asked the victims, we'll call them, considering, if they were Christian, and if yes, they would see God in 1 second, i.e. they would be dead. And then the gunman himself was shot dead by police in there's a phrase you have over there, I can't remember, whatever, gunning shoot down or something. He'd spoken in support of the IRA. He obviously was a British guy. He was moved over from Britain. He was born in Britain and moved over as a baby to the US, and this occurred in Roseburg Umpqua College in Oregon, USA. And then so the fact that he was supported the IRA, it's quite interesting now the way they bring over the British history or the British Irish history, like IRA and all that stuff, over to USA. I found that very quite interesting and quite disarming or whatever. But President Obama himself has called for tighter gun laws. He has spoken of the routine, in that what he means by every time we have what's the term they use for these yokes? Mass shootings, I think it's called. It's the same thing, like the people will say, oh, they should have this, they should have that. He himself stands on the podium expressing sympathy, condolences to the families, to the victims, etc., etc. It's just continuous, ongoing, continuously. One thing I was looking at on Ireland AM, which is an entertainment program in the morning, one thing was mentioned though. 2 mass shootings occurred in United Kingdom over, I think, few decades. So 1800, or I don't know the years to offhand. Offhand is the right term. And the next one was, I think, back in 1900. That's like under 100 years apart, give or take the years, depending on the exact years. And yet in the USA alone, in 1 year, I don't know if the person was right in saying this, he quoted 44 mass shootings held in the 1 year, which that sounds a bit excessive, but with the way the US gun laws is, I wouldn't be surprised if that were to be the truth. But anyway, moving on to a more close to home, a playwright known as Brian Friel. He died of natural causes at the age of 86. He wrote the infamous Dancing of Lunasa, who my mother went to with a friend of hers, I can't remember who it was. she went to see the play in the Helix, and then she went, and then he also wrote, Philadelphia, Here I Come, and he wrote a few other things which mysteriously didn't get signed into. How interesting is that now? Maybe the Brides of Christ never saved their full entry, because I'm almost sure I put in the other stuff that Ryan wrote, like something about translations. And anyway, it's not there. But anyway, I'm almost sure when I was and sadly he passed away in Greencastle, County Donegal. He was born in Omagh, which brings me to my next point, and he moved to County Donegal. Now, the reason I bring you about Omagh is because he was born during the Troubles of the North, and if I recall rightly, when I was young, about in my early to mid-teens, when my mum used to make my sister and I read a book every single Sunday night, just before going to school the next day, which is interesting. And I was reading this particular book at this particular night, whereby some guy known as Tom, maybe it's Thomas, it being a character name obviously, was in a corner hiding away from the IRA. And if I recall rightly, it was actually written by Brian Friel. So I'm still trying to figure out. I was looking up Google later on when this news broke out, but it doesn't seem to have actually found it to be related. But I'm almost sure Brian Friel wrote a book relating to the IRA, maybe where he himself was in it or whatever, I don't know. Well, involved in terms of being a victim kind of thing, obviously. But anyway, that's my diary entry for the night, or the day, whatever. So I hope to speak to you all tomorrow. And remember, if you need anything, or if you would like more videos or whatever, just ensure you subscribe down below, okay? Cha-cha!